Welcome to the Lady Landlords podcast, where we empower women to gain financial freedom through real estate investing. I'm your host, Becky Nova, founder of Lady Landlords. If you're ready to buy, manage, and grow your real estate investing portfolio, then let's get started. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Lady Landlords podcast. Today, we're going to be having one of our Q&A sessions. This is where I answer your questions from our Lady Landlords Facebook group live here on the call. We're going to talk through these different topics and make sure you're getting the support that you are really looking for. So today we're going to be talking all about credit scores and how you want to use them through tenant screening situations. Okay. So for those of you that already have rentals, a lot of times we see issues where we now have people that are coming into our rentals, applying for our properties, and we have to make decisions that have our qualification of what we would like to be doing on moving those people forward through that applicant process to turn them into a tenant. But there are a lot of federal guidelines, state guidelines, city guidelines. There are a lot of different things that need to happen within that process to secure those tenants and to make sure that we are really screening tenants properly and finding the best ones for our rentals. So when it comes to credit scores, now there absolutely is the topic of, do we use credit scores or not, right? That is your choice as a lady landlord to decide if you're going to use credit scores as your criteria. Personally, I do. A credit score is something that I look at, and those are different things that I will look at within the rental report to really get a snapshot of what that tenant is like. But let's now go and see your questions, because I do see that a lot of women are using credit scores in their screening. So Ashley McGlasson, she put a question in our Facebook group asking about what to do during tenant screening when tenants just don't qualify for the property. She says, I try to tell them that they just don't meet our requirements and that Ashley moves forward with the most qualified applicants, but they still want to come see the unit and apply anyways. She says she finds this to be a waste of her time. And Ashley, I completely agree with that. Okay. We should not be wasting our time showing properties to people that we know are not going to qualify and meet our qualifications. This is why it is so important to make sure to use a pre-screening questionnaire. For example, when I list a property, I make sure to put my ad up. And once I have that ad, anybody that reaches out about it, I automatically send them a pre-screening questionnaire. That pre-screening questionnaire makes sure to qualify those people. I ask all of those questions that we know sometimes people don't read in the ad. So this really makes sure that people are aware of what I do need to see from them to make them a qualified applicant. To be honest, if people pass my pre-screening questionnaire, I don't even reach out to them at that point in time. That is it. Conversation is over. I only reach out to those that are qualified through my pre-screening questionnaire and invite them to come see the property and then invite them to actually apply to become a tenant. So I agree, Ashley, do not waste your time on showing people properties that it's just not going to work. Okay. Now, Lily Cano asked, she had a quick question on if I would rent to somebody who works independently and their only proof of income would be those bank statements. She said that they have a really poor income tax return, and she's really doubting if this person can afford the rent. Well, to be honest, listen, there are people that are self-employed. There are people that make tips. There are people that receive monies for other reasons besides just a 9-to-5 type job. And we have to really think about what that's going to look like. One of the only ways that we can really confirm what they are making is through their tax returns. Okay. So that's going to be incredibly important to take a look at. So to me, bank statements, that doesn't really tell me anything. Great. You could have a great month. You could be employed today. And that's why maybe there's some money in that bank account that does not give any indication to future earnings, what you were making, any type of stabilization at all. That's going to make me feel comfortable that you're going to be able to afford that rent. In that case, you'll have to see their tax returns. I know, Lily, that you said that they had a really poor income tax return. Not quite sure what you mean. but I have the feeling that means that they're really not showing you enough income there. So because of that, I would probably say that that is not going to be a fit for you. Okay. The only indicator that we have is their tax returns. So therefore, that's the information you're going to have to go on. So unfortunately, Lily, you're probably going to have to decline that tenant. The next question that we have when it comes to credit scores, very popular question from DM Wilson. What is the minimum credit score that you require in order to rent your property? Well, this is a personal choice. This is something, just like I said, it is completely your choice on if you are going to even check credit scores or not check credit scores. It is just as important to decide what credit scores you are actually going to accept or not. Okay. So that's something you want to pick a number. And it's very important to set your rental criteria before you even put your ad up, because you need to hold every single person to the exact same standard when you set criteria. So if you want to go with a credit score of 650, if you want to go with the credit score of 300, that is completely up to you as you are the CEO of your business. But you need to make sure that every person that you're talking to is standardized. That also is something that if there are certain things that you're looking for in a credit report, do make sure to have that criteria established beforehand. So that way you will be able to decide if this person will or will not be a fit for your rental. All right. Our next question up is from Alice Livingston. Alice asks, how do you politely and legally decline an application? Alice is having to decline an application due to unresolved debts and obligations that have really lowered that tenant's credit score. Well, two separate questions there. So first off, when you are declining applicants, we want to make sure to keep it short, keep it sweet, and we don't want to give the exact reason of why they didn't meet our criteria. So for example, one of the phrases that I always use is to explain to tenants that we're moving forward with other applicants. And be quiet. Stop talking there. Leave that there. The reason for that is because when we give a reason, we start to open a door for one, a debate with the tenant, right? They may be saying like, well, but my credit score is low, but that's only because of something that my ex did and they used my credit card, or all these different reasons that honestly, unfortunately, are not important to us. They either have the credit score that we want, as I mentioned in the last Q&A, or they don't meet it. And we need to be able to move on at that point in time. So we want to make sure to keep that short and sweet. Okay. But that goes for all criteria that you have set up. Whatever it may be, we want to keep it short and sweet. But when people are talking about credit scores, if we pulled their credit, okay, and we are declining them solely due to their credit, it is actually a federal requirement that we inform them of that. And also in many locations in certain states, we actually have to give them that credit report. They actually paid for that credit report when they applied for our apartment. So those are things that we have to inform them that it was credit related and then provide them with that documentation. Those are the most popular questions that I've been seeing about credit tenant screenings situations. So I hope those situations help. I hope that helps you get out there and really make sure to realize that you have the most qualified tenants moving into your apartments. Thank you very much for joining us for our Lady Landlords Facebook member Q&A session today. Do make sure to hit subscribe to this podcast episode so you do not miss a new episode as we release new episodes every single Tuesday. See you next week. Thank you for listening to the Lady Landlords podcast. If you're feeling stuck in your real estate investing journey, visit lady-landlord.com to book a 15-minute orientation call with me and see if you're ready to join our mentorship program. Or you can subscribe to our newsletter and join our Facebook group for exclusive real estate investing tips and offers. Invest with confidence. Become a Lady Landlord today.